as demonstrated in the recent October 10th speech by the President of the United States. We urge the media to exercise responsibility and balance its reporting, recognizing that it plays a pivotal role in shaping public perception. It is through media that people form their understanding of events. We implore media outlets to provide accurate and comprehensive coverage, fostering a climate of understanding and empathy, rather than amplifying division and hatred. Our thoughts and prayers are with all victims of violence, both here at home and abroad. We fervently hope for peace and justice to prevail for all, and we call on leaders and communities to come together in the pursuit of a better, more harmonious world. Thank you for coming here today. Share with us the agony, the fear that we are going through. I would like now to introduce Osama Al-Shayed, Executive Director of the American Muslim for Palestine.
Thank you. This heinous crime did not take place in a vacuum. Over the past 10 days, Palestinians, Arabs, Muslim Americans have been subjected to a hateful, hostile campaign. Anyone who supports the Palestinian rights and dares to criticize the war crimes that are committed by Israel in the Gaza Strip has become the subject of accusation here in the United States. It is not only the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip who are subjected to this campaign of dehumanization. This also has been extended to us here in the United States. This created an atmosphere of hate and anger. Unfortunately, public officials and our media are acting irresponsible. When you have a president who promotes debunked lies, as in the case of the beheaded Israeli children, and when you have a media, supposedly mainstream media, that also refers to debunked lies, as in the case of raping Israeli women, we should not be surprised when we see crimes are committed against those who speak for the Palestinian rights. It is not about supporting terrorism. It is not about October 7th. History didn't start on October 7th, and no one marched here or spoke on behalf of the Palestinian rights to endorse what happened on October 7th. What we are for is the Palestinian rights. What we are for is the Palestinian plight. What we are for is what the president himself at one point said, that they deserve to enjoy equal measures of freedom and dignity, which they have been deprived from for the past 7 years. The criminals who perpetrated this crime against Wadea and his mother is not the person who stabbed him alone. In fact, it is this atmosphere or charged atmosphere of hatred that is being advanced, that is being promoted by our public officials and by our media. So we call on the president, one, to walk back and to apologize for using debunked stories. He have not apologized yet. The White House walked back that statement by him. But for him to claim that he's seen it with his own eyes and not to apologize for it, that will continue to promote anger and to charge bigoted people to commit more crimes. He also needs to come out and state clearly that American people have the right to speak out against Israeli atrocities. When we speak out against Israeli atrocities, We're not joining a so-called day of jihad as the media is trying to portray it. We are standing on principle. We are standing for human rights, and the Palestinian people deserve to be afforded and extended the same human rights that we enjoy. This is not something that comes or emanates from the President of the United States or the US government. This is a God-given right. Their humanity does not need the certification of the President of the United States, Joe Biden. So we want him also to apologize and to say that Americans who are opposed to the Israeli atrocities have the right to speak out, have the right to demonstrate, and have the right to continue to advance the Palestinian narrative here in America. So we ask our media to be responsible, and we ask you to verify your stories before you broadcast them and you write them, and we ask you to hold our elected officials and public politicians to hold them responsible, and we ask you to hold yourself responsible for the messages that you have been unfortunately advancing and promoting while unverified. Thank you. My name is Osama, O-S-A-M-A. Last name is A-B-U-I-R-S-H-A-I-D. And I'm the Executive Director of the American Muslims for Palestine.
Thank you. Now I would like to introduce Ahmed Rehab, the Executive Director of Chicago Care Office. And after that, we will be introducing the father of the baby who was stabbed 26 times.
This is a heavy day. It is our worst nightmare come true. It is something we try to warn against, creating an atmosphere of dehumanization that puts our community at risk, creates sitting ducks. And it pains me that the sacrificial lamb to this atmosphere was this beautiful, young, 6-year-old boy who had his whole life ahead of him, Wadea Al-Fayoume, who loved soccer, who loved basketball, who loved Lego, who loved to swing, who knew nothing, could fathom nothing about the complicated politics of the world that seemed to have claimed his life in a moment of madness. He was stabbed 26 times, the 6-year-old boy, with the 12-inch knife in his body still as he entered the autopsy room. And his mother, who was stabbed all over her body a dozen times and had tried to call 911 and came out to see this terrible scene that no parent should ever see, now has to sit in this hospital room all alone without the warmth of this community embrace that we have the privilege of having here today, thanks to this wonderful mosque, dealing with her injuries, dealing with her emotional trauma, and dealing with the biggest hole that can never be filled, the biggest gap of all, the loss of her child. So I want us today to center her and her child and the family, the father. The pain that is in their hearts is in all of our hearts. This was an attack on all of us. When this individual said, "You Muslims must die," this was a message not to the boy and the mother. This was to all of us. We were all stabbed that day. And I want to conclude by asking all of us to commit, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, whatever faith, whatever race, whatever nationality you originate from, to commit to a basic level of respect for all humanity, and not to engage in assertion that it removes humanity, phrases like human animals, or by omission, or by erasure, by simply not talking about the suffering. That is erasure and omission and is dehumanization. Let's commit to being better and having a consistent moral standard. Thank you.
Now, yeah.
My name is Ahmed Rehab. Ahmed is spelled A-H-M-E-D. Rehab is spelled R-E-H-A-B. I'm the executive director of the Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE Chicago.
I think the father is in extreme emotions and can't speak, but I think his uncle will be able to speak. So I'm going to ask his uncle to speak.
First of all, thank you for all coming in. We appreciate it. And that it shows us that everybody is interested, everybody cares. I'm not a politician, so I'm not going to speak as a politician. I'm going to speak as a human being. And they say I'm an uncle, but I'm more as a grandfather to this little boy. The father, he would like to speak, but the problem is he would like to speak in his own language for his father to understand. I just want to tell the whole world that we live in a country called USA. We're not in war. And we're not bringing war here too. What happened that day for a gentleman that he loved that kid to start with. He used to bring him toys. And to hear on the news from our president that he saw that he's seen some pictures, and actually that was not true. The Congress came out and denied it. The reporter herself, she denied it. The soldiers themselves, they said we did not see. This gentleman heard it, and it was in his mind. And the only thing he saw that kid and his mom. We received some calls. They said we've been exaggerating. Now I want to ask anybody here, a 71-year-old man sitting on top of a 6-year-old kid, stabbing him more than 26 times, and he was looking in his eyes. You tell me, is that exaggeration? You tell me what type of man he can do that. I would like to say he's accountable, but he's not. I think our president needs to come out and say something. Our officials needs to come out and say something. We're not in war. The war is overseas. You want war? It's overseas. It's not our war. It's not United States war. And we're gathering here to say we need to save our kids. I'm not just saying about Palestinians. I'm saying about our kids.
Thank you.
We need to save them.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for all.
Spell your name.
He's a 6-year-old kid. As any other 6-year-old kid, he likes to play games. He's a very kind kid. He likes to jump up and down. And we received a text message. Hopefully we can send this text message from his mom. That when he was stabbed, his last words to his mom, "Mom, I'm fine." You know what? He is fine. He's in a better place. Thank you.
I would like to introduce Dr. Imam Omar Suleiman, a national leader and speaker.
There's the famous saying of the mother of Emmett Till when she said, "Let the world see what they have done to my boy." Since the mother of Wadea is not here, we say on her behalf, let the world see what they have done to her boy. And I want you to take a moment to appreciate that every single Palestinian child looks like Wadea. That every single Palestinian child is just as beautiful, has just as much of a right to be mourned. And when we mourn Wadea, we are mourning all of those children. And when we condemn the hate that killed Wadea, we are condemning the hate that has killed all of those children. And while we appreciate these statements of sympathy, we do not appreciate empty words of condolence without a commitment to course correct. There's a lot of complicity to go around here. We're trying very hard to be pastoral to this family right now. But we cannot ignore the greater environment of hate that is being enabled by every single structure around us right now. The Palestinian catastrophe has not even warranted a word from the mouth of the headest official of this land. And to turn on the TV and to go to your school and to hear from your corporations an acknowledgement of everybody's humanity except for your own. There's more than just the man that stabbed a 6-year-old boy here. I want you to think about what was in his head. What type of hate has to be manufactured in the head of a man for him to stand over a 6-year-old boy and stab him 26 times? And I want each and every single one of us to take a step back and to actually assess our own humanity in the moment. If you can't shed tears right now, you have a humanity problem. If you are not thinking about how you can use whatever you have, whether you're behind the camera or in front of the camera, whether you're a politician or a media spokesperson, how you can use it to uplift the humanity of these children, you have a humanity problem. If we had to stage a press conference for every single Palestinian child that's being pulled out of the rubble, for every single fetus, child that has been miscarried because they don't have access to hospitals in Gaza right now, for every single child that's been kicked in the face and spit on in the West Bank right now by an Israeli settler who knows that they have the full cover of the Israeli government as well as the United States government, then we would be here all day long. I'm asking you to be a human being. I'm asking each and every single person to take a step back and let's ask ourselves the question, have we not learned anything from 9/11? Do we really want to live those dark years again? I can tell you that we, as a Muslim community, as Palestinian Americans, Arab Americans, people who have faced the thrust of dehumanization at the hands of the government as well as the media, are not willing to go back to that. Let's all take a step back and let's acknowledge that no child should ever have to pay for the crimes or for the manufactured image of a criminal on the part of anybody else. Every single child deserves to be treated with the love and compassion and care that we hope that our own children have. So we take a step back and please acknowledge that this community needs to grieve right now, that this community is in pain, but that this community has been in pain for the last week, and I doubt that there has been a single camera here over the last week. Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Imam Omar Suleiman, IMAM OMARSULEIMAN. Thank you.
I believe the father would like to speak, though he does not speak English, he is going to speak in Arabic as a father. Yeah, please.
He asked me not to.
السلام عليكم. حبيبي كل الناس اللي هون دمياني احكي بالانجليزي، وانا بحكي انجليزي الحمد لله رب العالمين. بس القضية اللي صارت قضية واحد امريكي او يهودي مع واحد مسلم على ارض امريكية، فالطرفين بيحكوش انجليزي، فانا ليش احكي بالانجليزي؟ انا هون لاني ابو الولد، مش لاني رجل سياسي او رجل دين او رجل اي شيء. انا هون ابو طفل انتهك حقه هون، وفي عائلات بالنسبة إلي موجودة في البلاد هي الأحق إنها تفهم شو اللي بصير. كلهم هناك بتطلعوا شايفين الأعلام مرفوعة ومش عارفين مين اللي رفعها، هو عربي ولا مسلم ولا أمريكي ولا يهودي. هدول الناس الأحق إنهم يعرفوا شو اللي صار. أنا القضية اللي صارت معاي مش قضية، أنا ابني هدية شهيد. أنا بتمنى إنهم يتقبلوه مني أهل غزة وأي حدا كمان. قضية حماس وقضية غزة هي قضية عالم، مش قضية بلد وبلد. أنا أصغر من إني أحكي عنها، وبتمنى إنه ابني يكون هو رصاصة اللي من خلالها تنحل هاي القضية. إحنا كشعب مسلم بيحكوا عنا مجرمين وبيحكوا عنا إرهابيين، وهم الشعب الإسرائيلي الأبطال، وما في مشكلة عنا بهذا الحكي. بس أنا ما بدي أبرر ولا بدي أحكي أي إشي، بس أنا بدي أفهم هم شو تفسيرهم لهذا الحكي. يعني لما واحد زلمة رجل ما يحاول أصلا يقترب من الأب، راح اقترب من الأم، وهاي الأم بنت من بنات فلسطين، وبرضه ما قدر عليها، شوهت وجهه، فراح جاب سكين وانتقم من الولد. فإذا هيك هم مستواهم، فعن جد إحنا حيوانات، لأنه بنسمح لهيك شغلات إنها تصير. فأنا بتمنى إنه تكون هاي الشغلة اللي تصحينا إحنا بداية، وابني أنا مش خايف عليه والحمد لله رب العالمين. حبيبي شكرا لكم.
I will introduce Dr. Abdul Ghani Hamadi, the chairman of the Council of Islamic Organization of Greater Chicago, as a physician.
My name is Abdul Ghani Hamadi, Abdulghany, Hamadi, Hamadeh. I am the chairman of the Council of Islamic Organizations, which is the umbrella organization for this mosque and 40 other mosques are under. We represent the Muslim community here in the Chicago area. But I'm going to speak to you. Wadea should be in school today. Instead, where are we? At his funeral. And I'll speak to you as a physician. I have been to multiple missions throughout the world, including conflict areas, including immediately into Syria after the earthquake. I have seen children under the rubble. I have seen children torn to pieces from war. I have never thought I will see this here in America. I have never thought I will see this barbaric action here in our land. And our hearts ache because of that. Because me as a physician, I have never imagined that we will lose our humanity to that degree and treat children where we are supposed to heal them and take care of them. This hurts us as humans, as physicians, as faith leaders, and I hope this will be a trigger for all of us to take a step back and rethink what we say and what we, and for all politicians and the media, as mentioned before. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we have Mayor of Plainfield who joined us here and would like to express a few words. Thank you.
I'm Mayor John Argodelis of Plainfield, Illinois. Argodelis, Argoudelis. And I'd first like to express my heartfelt condolences to the family and the community on the loss of young Wadea. As a parent, I can't even begin to imagine the pain experienced by the family, especially, and of all who a young man is lost. By listening to the descriptions of him, he sounds like an all-American boy. And I echo those sentiments that here in America we don't expect this kind of action. It was shocking to us. I heard about it, and certainly heard about the hate crime motivation of it yesterday. And if you look at my mayor post, I was up at 3 a.m. just tossing and turning over this. I've lived in Plainfield all my life, and as mayor, we make great efforts to be inclusive of our community. We have a diverse community of many people. My good friend Mohammed Fahim, who's been a strong representative of our local mosque, he currently serves on our plan commission, and everybody in Plainfield is included and part of our community and our government. We are one Plainfield, and this is a shocking event to happen in our community of 45,000 people, where we all live in harmony together and work with one another. The outpouring from the residents of Plainfield has been tremendous. I post frequently on Instagram and Facebook, and the community, and especially the non-Muslim community, is what can we do, how can we help, how can we show our support. And we will be having a vigil tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. at our Park District Gymnasium, and I expect a very large showing of our community saying that we reject hate, we reject discrimination, and we stand for one Plainfield for all, one America for all, and equality for everyone. So again, I want to extend my heartfelt condolences on behalf of myself personally and on behalf of our community. No parent should ever have to experience this. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And I would like to introduce Mr. Harry Benton III, Illinois House Representative for the 97th District.
Thank you. My name is Representative Harry Benton, B-E-N-T-O-N. I represent the 97th District where this happened, and been a resident of the area my whole life. I grew up off the street that the tragedy happened, and I'm here to support the family, support the community, and let everybody know that here in Illinois we should have love in our hearts, and I don't want to see this politicized, because this is an international experience. And here in Illinois, here in the United States, we need to love each other and we need to show compassion, because we do have a diverse community in Plainfield and the surrounding areas. And one of the things that I truly want to convey through the conversations that I've had is we're taking the proper precautions and making sure that we are putting more patrols on the street, making sure that people feel comfortable, people feel safe from all walks of life, all communities. And I've seen the community gather around and become one. All faiths, all backgrounds have come together to make sure that we support the family, we support the community, and safety is at the first and foremost of all of our sorry, it's kind of throwing me off a little bit, because I have a 5.5-year-old. She'd be in the same class, and my wife and I have been talking about it all weekend, and we couldn't imagine. So honestly, forget the politics. I don't care about the politics. I'm getting sick and tired of this crap going on around the country, in the state, anywhere. Kids are kids. Let kids be kids. Hold people accountable. Make sure that this doesn't happen anywhere else. Too much has happened throughout this country, too much hate, and I think about my daughter all the time, and this is, you want to think that this is an isolated situation, but there's so much hate out there, and we need to stop from everywhere, because my daughter would be in the same grade, and it's just, hug your kids a little bit tighter, because that doesn't happen for everybody tonight. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Benton. We really appreciate it. It is interesting to know that after 9/11, we had so much support from our neighbors and friends and interfaith groups and who came to our mosque, and we have not seen the hate we have seen today for something that is happening overseas. What happened in 9/11, what happened on our own soil, but we had the greatest support. But for something to happen overseas and we see this backlash of hate was really something else. Thank you for attending this press conference. We appreciate being here. We hope that we never have to come back here and talk about any incident that involves any innocent people in this country or around the world. We just pray for peace everywhere. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.